Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about how to build a 6 months emergency fund from scratch. If you're new here, my name is Peace, and on this space we're all about everything finance, self-development and all that good stuff. So if you're interested in that, make sure to join this family for more and more and more. So let's get right into it. So let me ask you a question. What will you do if you were to lose your job tomorrow? Or what if your car broke down and they said you need $1,000 to repair that car? Trust me, I have a personal story, and you don't want to find yourself in that place, because that can be a terrifying experience for some people. It might even keep others up at night, because you did not plan for this. It just came up from nowhere and now you have to cough up this money. So in this video we are going to be building an emergency fund. I know we all know that we need an emergency fund, but the thought of you saving millions, keeping it there, doing nothing is terrifying for some people, because they feel like this money is a lot and they don't really know where to start. Don't worry, I got you covered, because I'm going to be breaking down how you can go about this, especially if you're one that has never really thought of building an emergency fund before. But it is very important and we need to have this on lockdown. Building an emergency fund is not a matter of you cutting out everything you love just because you're trying to save money for a future you are not even sure of. It's all about just creating a repeated process that can help you to slowly but surely get you to that place where you can save up enough money that is considered enough for you to take care of yourself, let's say if eventualities were to happen. So because I want this to be easy for you, in this video I'm going to be breaking it down for you in a simple 3-step method that can help you. Anybody can follow this, and it will help you to build a 6 months emergency fund from scratch. We are going to break down this intimidating goal into smaller, manageable steps that will give you real peace of mind for when you need it. Whether you're starting from zero, or you've been building an emergency fund, or maybe you've started and then you failed, this guide is all you need to help you get started again. So the first and most important step is to agree on a number. Like, how much do you want to save for this emergency fund? We need to figure out exactly the number we need to save, and for this we are going to be calling it your financial security number. To get this number, we need to calculate your essential monthly expenses. This means the absolute things you need, like your rent, maybe groceries, those things that you can't do without. That is what we are trying to figure out in this step. For now, you have to ignore things like entertainment, maybe going out, even traveling. You have to ignore it for now. We are just looking for those your baseline financial needs that you can't do without. Once you now have that number, I simply need you to multiply this number by either 3 or 6, because it is advised that you should always have 3 to 6 months worth of your salary or your income as an emergency fund. So for beginners who might be feeling like, okay, 6 months is a lot, you can start with 3 months. All that matters is that you are taking the first step. So let's say your monthly expenses is around $2,000, or the equivalent of $2,000 in naira. You will need to save at least $6,000 to $12,000 for your emergency fund. So $6,000 for those who are beginners and are sticking to the 3 months emergency fund, and then $12,000 for those who are trying to save up for 6 months worth of their emergency fund. Now you have to write this number down. Like I said at the beginning, we need to have this number on lockdown. So this situation might be different for Nigerians, because we tend to pay our rent yearly. So you might want to increase this number, because you have to take care of a huge bulk of your expenses up front. So just have that at the back of your mind. But for those who pay monthly rent, the average $6,000 to $12,000 is okay for your emergency fund. So I know this number seems like it's a lot, but trust me, you don't need to have it on lockdown at once. All that matters is that you are taking repeated steps, actively taking that steps, building it little by little, and all that matters is that we have the end goal in mind. We already have this number on lockdown. It's a matter of working towards getting it completely. Now guys, this is the fun part. We need to look at our like the spreadsheet we created in our previous video. We've done a lot of budgeting on this space for now. So now that we're trying to create this 6 months emergency fund, we need to refer back to that our budget. Check through that your budget. What are you spending so much money on that you don't necessarily need to spend that much money on? We need that money right here. Take for example, are you paying a subscription that you don't need? It's just like me now paying for Netflix when I know that I can only watch Netflix once in a month. That is like a waste. So I would rather put that money in my emergency fund than to be paying a subscription, and of which these subscriptions, they roll over naturally. If you are not making a lot use of it a lot, you might want to cancel it and then bring that money to this place, because we are trying to build something that is going to take care of us when situations happen. Another example is, are you one of those that you love to eat out every now and then? You don't even see cooking again as something that you should do. Please, my dear, we need to bring that money down here. So rather than eating 3 times outside, just eat once. We need the two remaining money in this our emergency fund, because situations will happen. Your eating out will not save you, so bring that money over here. But the main idea here is to just look at your budget. What are you spending so much money on that you can reduce, that is not so much adding any meaningful value to your life? We need that money, because this is how we are going to be building up our emergency fund. Aside from removing from our income, look at your expenses. What are you spending so much money on? What can you adjust? Then you can use that to build up this your emergency fund. It's just like when I realized that I was spending almost 30k for lunch alone in my office. Trust me, like I said in one of my previous videos, like it was until I had to start writing down every single thing I was spending my money on that I found out that, aha, this is where my money is going to. Just imagine that kind of situation. I now made it a habit, or I constantly keep reminding myself of the need to cook a day before, so that I can carry it to work for lunch, because it is not cheap outside anymore. Even in my office canteen, it is like the worst, because they believe you are making a lot of money. So now you are buying things that you would normally buy in the market at a cheaper price, like more expensive in that place. So rather than spending all that money in that place, instead of eating 2 times, maybe 3 times in a week in the office, I would rather eat only once, maybe just to free up some space for myself, because it is not every time you like to cook. Trust me, I know. But all that matters is that you are reducing the money you are spending outside that you can bring inside. Imagine that 30k now, like at the end of the year, that is like more than 360k. That's a lot of money. But if I were to reduce the amount I'm spending on eating out, then keeping it for my emergency fund, you'll find that at least I'm eating outside, but then I'm still saving a lot of money. So having that balance there is what I love to do, and it has been helping me so far. Another way you can even do this is to create, or challenge yourself to a no spend week. It's just like saying, okay, this week I'm not going to be buying anything. Maybe every day you buy a cup of coffee, and then you love it, it has turned to a routine. You can decide, okay, in this week, in this month, I'm not going to be spending any money on anything that is not a necessity. This is another way that you can pull up this money, and then put it in your emergency fund. This is not for you to just save up the money and then eat it again. It is, we are trying to be intentional about building up our emergency fund. So just like you cutting down on what you are buying, you can decide to do this no spend week challenge for yourself, and put that money in your emergency fund. So now that we have like these sources that we've created for us to add or build up our emergency fund, we need to go to the next step, which is to automate your savings. This is the most crucial step, and one thing you need to know is that with building up money, with saving money, consistency is key. Because you can't say you are saving this month and then next month you decide, okay, no, I'm not going to do, maybe something came up, and that automating your savings will make you have no choice but to the money goes directly into this account you've created, so you don't have any choice than to save. And it now helps you to build this financial habits that you were lacking before in your life. Trust me, automation is the secret weapon you need to build a good financial habit. If you are to save yourself from emergencies, stress that comes with those emergencies, you might want to take building your emergency fund as a non-negotiable expense. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I had an experience this year that shook me to my core, and it took a lot from my emergency fund. But just imagine I did not have that emergency fund. It would have been something that would have kept me awake at night, because I might either have had to borrow money or then start taking from my savings, which is something you don't want to happen. So my car broke down this year, January, and I had to spend nothing less than 400k to repair that money. 400k is no small money. Like, people don't just sleep and wake up and get 400k. You need to build up that money, and it was from an emergency fund that this money came up. The funny thing is that this car broke down at 2 different occasions. Just imagine a week interval between those times. And if not because I had this money on lockdown, I would have been stressed. And then starting the year with all those kind of experiences will just give you this bad feeling that the rest of the year is going to be a bad one. But because I had this on lockdown, it was very easy for me to take care of it and then move on to saving up and refilling where I took out from. So as soon as your salary comes, make it an important decision that you cannot do without. putting a portion out for your emergency fund. Just like we said we have said several times now, using the 50-30-20 rule, you can always take out from the 20% to build up your emergency fund. It is another source. We've talked about other sources in this video, so just create this habit of repeatedly putting money out. It will be very useful at the point you don't know that it is going to be useful. Trust me, I've had several experiences concerning this emergency fund situation. So when I'm saying it is because it is coming from a place of care for you, that you don't want to find yourself in a place where you don't have money to take care of a situation, especially an emergency. One way you can even build up this your emergency fund is, just like I said, taking out money from maybe your savings to build up your emergency fund, or maybe cutting down on something you're spending so much money on, or completely doing like a no spend week. Putting this money in a high yield savings account is another way for you to keep making money from you putting money in this account. You have several high yield savings accounts in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. For Nigerians, we have Piggyvest, Cowrywise, a lot. There are so many out there right now, but it's just a matter of choosing a place where you know that okay, your money is building up. Just imagine putting your money or leaving it in the bank where you are getting around 8.5% per annum interest, rather than putting it in a high savings account where you are getting nothing less than 15 to 18% interest per annum. You choose where your money is going to be making you more money. So all that matter is that this emergency fund that that you're not going to be using all the time, put it in this place and it will keep making you more money, and your money will keep growing. So building an emergency fund from scratch really comes down to three things. Define your goal, find your hidden money, that money that you keep spending that you can put into your emergency fund, and then automating your savings. This is all you need to build an emergency fund from scratch. It's about taking small intentional steps towards achieving that your ultimate goal. It might seem like it is a very big goal, but one that if you take these active steps that we just talked about, it is very achievable. Trust me, the feeling of security you get from having an emergency fund, it is one that is immeasurable. Rather than making impulse buys, maybe spending money on things that you think you need but you know that you don't need, put that money in your emergency fund. You find that the peace of mind you have is even much more than anything you are buying right now, that after 1 week you start asking yourself, why did you buy this thing? So guys, now that we have it on lockdown, we've created our emergency fund from scratch. What do you think about this? What's your fear about not having money about a situation? Let me know in the comments, because I feel like this will be a fun discussion. Many people have nightmares because they keep finding themselves in a place where they need money, but then they never really had the concept of emergency fund. But if you've heard of it before, let me know. Have you started building one? Let me know. I would love to hear everything about this from you guys. Also, if you want to take complete control of your finances, check out this other video I made here. Trust me, it will definitely help you, because I don't make anything that is not going to be adding value to your life. So let's go over there right now, and I'll see you over there. Bye guys.